Can we start the session?
Yes, sir. Definitely. GSR Garu, are you there?
No, he is not there.
Yeah, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Ravi Kishore.
Ravi Kishore. Yes, sir.
I
am.
think, your chairman is not there, huh?
Yeah, he will join, sir. No issue. Good morning, everyone. Let me take this opportunity of introducing our past president, CAK Raghu. The chairman will join us in a short while from now. In the meanwhile, I would take this opportunity to introduce the past president. He was born and brought up in Bangalore and has completed graduation from the prestigious St. Joseph College of Commerce, University of Bangalore. He is qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 1990 and elected as the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the year 2014-15. He is the fellow member of the Institute and an experience of more than 24 years. And he is also an honorary member of CPA Australia. He is senior partner of K. Raghu & Co., a leading firm of chartered accountants in Bangalore. He specializes in taxation, audit, business, investment, and technology consultancy services. He was elected to the Central Council and elected as president of ICA by the 22nd Central Council on the 12th of February 2014 for the year 2014-15. He was elected as the Vice President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India by the Central Council on 12th February 2013 for the year 13-14. Prior to that, from 2007, he was the Central Council member for 3 consecutive terms. He was a former director on board of Indian Overseas Bank, nominated by the Ministry of Finance as an independent director, and was a former board member of the International Federation of Accountants, New York, and International Federation of Accountants, IFAC. It is the global organization for the accountancy profession, founded in 1977. IFAC has 175 members and associates in 130 countries and jurisdictions, representing more than 2.5 million accountants employed in public practice, industry and commerce, government and academia. He was a member of Audit Committee of the IFAC for 2015 and a chairman of CSR Committee of ICA. He has expertise in the startup ecosystem of Karnataka and contributed to the startup ecosystem in the state of Karnataka. Bangalore, being the startup capital of India, has many successful startups. With this, I welcome our past president for this seminar. Sir, I may tell you that I'm afraid Chengal Reddy, CA Chengal Reddy has joined now. Do we have him?
Yeah, please, let him speak.
Maybe he does not appear in the participants list.
No, I am able to see him.
You are able to see him, sir?
Yeah, I am able to see Chengal Reddy.
Yeah. Sir, Chengal Reddy, are you in, sir? Very good morning. Very good morning, sir. I welcome you. And sir, with your permission, Raghu sir, I will introduce CA Chengal Reddy. He will give the opening remarks.
Ravi Kishore Garu, no introduction for me. Being
sir, it will be our privilege to introduce you. Not that our members do not know you, everyone recognize you, but as a customary thing, we would like to introduce you.
Yeah.
Mr. CA Chengal Reddy is a graduate in commerce from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. He is fellow member of ICA, completed his certificate course in concurrent audit and also certificate course in FAFD and IFRS. He has a varied experience in statutory audit, internal audit, tax audit, project finance, and due diligence. His clientele include various listed and unlisted companies, banks, insurance companies, trusts, firms, and other entities. He is a senior partner of Messrs. SSGRP and Associates Chartered Accountant, Hyderabad. Before coming into the regional council, he was a member of the managing committee of Hyderabad branch of SARC of ICA from 2013 to 19. During 14-15, he served as chairman SICASA of Hyderabad branch. He was the secretary in the year 2015-16. Later on, became vice chairman in 16-17. and held the coveted position of chairman Hyderabad branch in the year 1718. He is elected to the Regional Council of SARC of ICA for the term 2019 to 22. With this introduction, I request our RCM CA Chengal Reddy to give his opening remarks. Sir, please.
Thank you, Ravi Kishore Garu. Today's guest, our beloved past president and today's speaker, CA K. Raghu sir, chairman of Vijayawada branch, CA G. Srinivas Rao Garu, vice chairman, treasurer, secretary, Ravi Kishore Garu, and other committee members, as well as past chairman, senior members, viewers of the today virtual webinar. A pleasant good morning to each one of you. And my hearty welcome to the past president conclave, and today's topic is CA firm and growth strategy by our past president, CA K. Raghu sir. I am very happy for the good initiatives taken by the Vijayawada branch and organizing a series of programs with our beloved past presidents. My compliments and congratulations to the chairman and the entire team of managing committee of Vijayawada branch. Right now, the global pandemic COVID-19 is not just a health pandemic, but an economic pandemic as well. And it is impacted the life of everyone. The global pandemic has taught us new ways of living in all spheres of life. Across the globe, citizens now have to practice social distancing. Governments are forced to impose lockdowns. Billions of corporate employees are working from home. The impact of COVID-19 is already having a significant impact across our audit profession also. Coming to our past president, CA K. Raghu sir, his period was a fantastic, and we can say it was a technology-driven year for the ICA. During 2014-15, few major initiatives and amazing contributions to the profession were ICA TV, webcasting, e-learning, some of his remarkable contributions, and also cloud campus and reading rooms for the CA students. I am very much remember that I am SICASA chairman during his presidentship. So I am happy to serve as a SICASA chairman under his presidentship. ICA mobile app, ICA publications, online store, ICA digital library, ebook, video podcast, and Google Hangouts are his major contributions to our profession during 2014-15 year. During the year 14-15, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi also nominated our ICA for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan as a brand building exercise for the profession and facilitate members and students who have brought laurels to the profession. Under the presidency of our beloved past president, CA K. Raghu sir, the ICA organized good events to promote and create wider awareness for the CA profession. ICA has taken up the technological advantages to meet the aspirations of the stakeholders and is winning over bottlenecks to reach out our members and students during the COVID period. Our ICA is in the forefront of using technology to the benefit of esteemed members, students, and reaching out to members and students vigorously during this COVID period. Days of accountancy, auditing, taxation are almost over. Technology has changed the way of we function. The business has not changed. What we don't realize is that the way we do business has changed. Transformation of business has changed a lot, be it a small provisional stores to big supermarkets, and right now e-commerce businesses, Amazon, Alibaba, Big Baskets, which we are doing door delivery of the products right now. The technology impact is much on the CA profession too. Clients are expecting service provider to be very near location wise, and they are seeking single service provider for all their needs, availability of 24/7 connectivity. They will expect loyalty from us, but they will not be loyal to us. So loyalty is not a permanent right now, which we have to remember. And foremost, the client service also, we have to focus. We have to shift from compliance to advisory services like financing, helping the clients to raise funds, debts, equity syndication, restructuring of the business, try to provide all the services to the clients. Updation of technology is one more right now essential aspect for each and every chartered accountant, like ABCD technology, artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, cryptocurrency, data analytics. Newer avenues in the form of forensic audit, information risk management, ESA. We have to undergo the trainings. We need to switch over and align our services from non-traditional services to the switch over to the non-traditional services. Stay updated with statutory and tax laws changes. Follow the ICA quality standards in our day-to-day, discharging our day-to-day duties. Be always cool and calm. Don't get frustrated. Be tactical and follow the time management. I want to say a famous quote of John Maxwell: change is inevitable, growth is optional. Changes happens with or without our consent. Growth is what is optional. It only happens with our consent and when we make the decision to grow. With this, I once again convey my wishes to all of you. My sincere thanks to the chairman and his team for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. I'm sure our past president Raghu sir will definitely enlighten us on how to gear up towards our target, that is our profession. Thank you very much, sir. Raghu sir.
Thank you, Chengal Reddy.
Thank you, sir. Chengal Reddy garu. Thank you very much.
Good morning,
Thank you, sir. And it's all yours, sir.
Good morning, Chengal Reddy.
Good morning, sir.
Nice to join you on the webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I think chairman should speak now.
Sir, it is all over to you, sir.
No,
You have to speak.
You are the chairman. You also should speak something.
So, no, sir. Thing is, right, there is some internet problems or something like that. That's why you could not able to gear up properly.
For a few minutes. You speak for a few minutes.
Sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome to this today's webinar on the CA firm and growth strategies by our Raghu sir, past president. Actually, when I contacted him for the webinar, for a series of webinars by all past presidents, he has encouraged me a lot, and he told me that he will deal the technological matters for the CA firms as something like that, because he is the tech savvy person, as Chengal Reddy sir rightly pointed out. He is the tech savvy person, and so that the institute has undergone several series of changes while he is the president, helm of the FIC, as the president of our institute. Really, a technological era has been started with this Raghu sir, this thing only. So thanks to Raghu sir, we have made this platform much earlier to the GST implemented as it is online platform. Now that in post-COVID situation, everybody is looking at the technology only. Even for giving the money also, we are afraid of taking money and giving money also because we are making Google Pay or whatever the case may be that is possible for our health sake also. So I request everyone to kindly update and enrich themselves so that we can go ahead with the things. We have been conducting a lot of programs on the technological front because it is the order of the day. And next Saturday, you are going to listen about the G Suite, that is Google Suite. How to build the Google Forms, spreadsheets, and everything that we are going to present it by Narasimhan sir from Bangalore only. So now that it is our past president Raghu sir. Raghu sir, please kindly go ahead with this.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivas Rao, for having invited me to this webinar. And I'm very happy to note that the Vijayawada branch of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is conducting a past presidents conclave. I think this is something very unique. Generally, the past presidents come together during the SIRC conference. Every year we are invited, and a few of us who are free join for the SIRC conference, and there'll be a session where all of us will, talk on the future of the profession or how the profession is moving. And this is for the first time, I think, a branch has taken the initiative in inviting almost 6 past presidents together for a conclave. And I would like to compliment Mr. Srinivas Rao from the chairman of the Vijayawada branch for having taken the lead in organizing this program for the benefit of the members and students. Friends, having said this, I'm very happy to note that the Vijayawada branch of the SIRC is doing an excellent job. I've been very closely watching and monitoring the way the activities are being conducted. I've visited Vijayawada branch many times when I was a regional council member, when I was a central council member, when I was a vice president, when I was a president. A very, very nice branch with a beautiful infrastructure you have made for the benefit of members and students. And you have the support of all the past chairmen, a very vibrant community of chartered accountants. And of course, Vijayawada is a very nice place. And I still remember whenever I come to Vijayawada, I visit the famous, temple there. That is, what do you call that name of the temple? So, the most popular temple.
Durga temple.
Goddess Kanakadurga temple.
Kanakadurga temple. Whenever I used to come, Mr. GVV Satyanarayana, my good friend who used to work with me in the council, always made it a point that Mr. Raghu, we have to visit the temple. And whenever I used to come to Vijayawada, he used to take me to this particular temple, and we pray God on this in this challenging times. As Chengal Reddy very rightly said, we're going through troubled times, and it's essential for us to pray God and see that everything comes back to normal. I think with this positive note, and we also had the opportunity of interacting with one member who's joined us from the hospital itself. Is recovering from COVID, and he said that he's getting discharged today. On behalf of all the members watching this webinar, I think we should wish him a speedy recovery, and all of us should take care. Of course, we have been seeing on the TV, we have been seeing in the newspaper, we've been seeing WhatsApp forward. Social distancing has become so required. Then, wearing a mask, all this using sanitizers, SMS is sort of become the order of the day. Absolutely, we have no choice till things come under control, especially in a city like Bangalore, where I come from. The number of cases have been increasing every day, and currently we have a lockdown in the city for a week. The lockdown started on Wednesday, and it will go on till next Wednesday. And this is just to see how best they are able to flatten the curve. But the cases in Bangalore are on the rise, and I also learned from our member that even in Vijayawada, the cases are increasing. We only can pray and wish and take safety measures to see that how best we as citizens can contribute to the controlling the COVID in this challenging situation. Friends, having said this, I'm extremely happy that Chengal Reddy, our regional council member, has joined us. I would like to compliment Chengal Reddy for the good work he's doing for the Mafusal members, and especially for the Mafusal members of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh, we have good number of branches in Vijayawada, Guntur, and Visakhapatnam, Kurnool, Anantapur, and Chengal Reddy has got a very big role to play in supporting these small branches. Because as regional council members, one big advantage you will have is that they will be able to represent you effectively in the institute. And very rightly, Chairman said during my presidentship, that is when we started the mobile app, we started the webcast, and I'm happy that webcasts are becoming so popular today. I still remember the first webcast that was conducted when I was the chairman of the IT committee at Delhi. We took Mr. Mohan Das Pai from Infosys Technologies and Suresh Senapati from Wipro. And from the president's cabin, the first webcast was conducted, and we partnered with Cisco Technologies for this webcast. And believe it or not, friends, it was something new for all of us then. 25,000 people watched the webcast. We gave good publicity. And since then till now, all the branches are utilizing the webcasting facility. Their webinars are being used. Luckily, we have good applications like Zoom. And, we have the mobile app, cloud campus. A lot of technology initiatives were brought in. Since I was from a city like Bangalore, where it's famous for technology, and I have a passion for technology, and I realized that Institute is having so much of content already available. So what is required is marrying technology and the content together, and that's exactly what I did. In a span of 2 years, 24 months, and we were able to bring in a lot of initiatives, selling publications online, making the audio lectures, video lectures available to the students, then knowledge gateway, mobile app, webinars, then e-learning courses. All this Google Hangouts, all this became so common in the year 2014-15. And I'm very happy that every year a lot of new features are being added. Now we have the self-learning portal and SSP, we call it. A lot of developments are taking place as far as the institute is concerned, and members also embracing technology, and I'm very happy. And with this background, friends, I would straight away like to get on to the topic. The topic given to me is how to strategies for growing our practice. All of us are practitioners. We are in traditional areas of practice. Some of us have moved into new areas of practice. But yes, growth is something each one of us would aspire. And in these challenging times, it is very difficult for any business or any firm or any CA firm to grow. It becomes very difficult. So in all of us, when we talk to our friends, I only hope that we're able to live up to the challenges. When it comes to growth, I don't think there'll be any growth that will be possible during COVID times. And if you're able to sustain our expenditure in running our practice units, I think we should be happy. Yes, friends, it's challenging times for all of us. April, May, June, we were able to sort of somehow manage. June, July, August should be very tricky because this is when nothing much would happen in the offices. You're not able to build your clients. Clients are not in a position to pay you. You have to take care of your overheads. And in these challenging times, there'll be a severe crunch on the working capital. So the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has, is tying up with many nationalized banks very shortly. I was speaking to the president day before, and I requested him that our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India should try to work with some national banks and offer a facility for the members. And very shortly, I think the Institute will be announcing some tie-up with some nationalized banks where members can avail working capital facilities at a concessional rate of interest. Friends, these are some of the developments as far as the profession is concerned. And what I would be doing today is, taking you through the various developments that are taking place as far as the practice is concerned, and how small and medium practitioners can grow, can have a growth strategy. Because even in challenging times, I think all of us can grow. It is not that you can't grow, you can grow, and you have to make a sincere attempt to see how best you can grow your practice from. So what I would do, friends, is that I've made the presentation in two parts. Part one, I'll be just talking about some of the new areas that are opening up. And part two, I'll talk about the growth strategies. Coming to the digital economy, I think all of us are aware that internet is becoming all invasive, and it's pushing the entire global economy to go digital. Today, everything is digital. You're able to order your food online. You're able to order your groceries and vegetables online. You're able to sort of, order for a taxi online using your Ola or Uber apps. So the whole way the business is being conducted has undergone a change. You can order your medicines online, you can book your tickets online. And in the case of COVID times, I think many families are ordering a lot of their, requirements online. So internet is becoming all invasive, and no one can dream of passing a day without internet. If internet connectivity is not there, I don't think we'll be able to move. Even a seminar, like a webinar like this, thanks to the evolution of internet, we are able to reach out to each other, meet each other, and even speak to each other. So what is happening is market business models are changing. From the brick and mortar models, it's going to the e-model, that is e-commerce model. And a lot of new marketplaces are being created. And that is the reason why you find online banking, online education becoming very, very popular. When we talk about online education today, the schools are not in a position to open up. Colleges are not opening up. So the only alternative for them is to provide online education to the school students, both at the primary, middle school, and the high school. Today, online education is being provided. And of course, there are a lot of challenges. People from lower strata of society do not have the equipments to provide to their children to benefit online education. But yes, somewhere you have to make a beginning to open the school. So online education has become a reality. Online banking, yes, of course, all of us today, we have reduced our visits to the branch. I was the director of the Indian Overseas Bank, and when I was the director of the Indian Overseas Bank for 3 years, we gave a big thrust for online banking. We encourage the customers not to come to the branches. Today, you're able to transfer funds. You're able to sort of view your bank statements, print your bank pass, your account statements, and make all transactions, make your utility payments, everything using online banking facility provided by all the nationalized banks. So what is happening is that we are seeing a big change. Education is changing, banking is changing, the way you order groceries, vegetables. So this is something which we need to keep in mind. So coming to the profession, how the digital economy would impact each one of us. Shankar Reddy was talking about artificial intelligence. Yes, artificial intelligence has already impacted the profession in a big way globally. I had the opportunity of serving on the international board of International Federation of Accountants as a board member for 3 years. And during my visits to New York, I had the opportunity of visiting many CPAs in New York. And there were some presentations made to us as to how AI is impacting the profession in the global board. And let me tell you, friends, that artificial intelligence is becoming very, very common today. Today, for example, a lot of your a lot of your entertainment products, are based on artificial intelligence. Like the moment you go home, you can say, Google, can you play the song for me? Then automatically the song is played on TV. Google, can you, tell me which is the nearest restaurant to my house? It will just tell you the nearest restaurant. So Google has become very common, and Google has come out with small appliances which can be used at home. So what I mean to say is that artificial intelligence is already being put to use at our homes. And now what will happen is tax utilities will be using artificial intelligence. Today, let us say we are all using Taxman. We are buying their income tax ready reckoner, we are buying the income tax act, income tax rules. Now they have come out with online versions of Taxman. What would happen way forward is that tax utilities, that is all the online tax journals, would be available with AI. So what you need to do is, you can just go online and you can speak to the, to the utility. Can you give me all the recent decisions under Section 43B of the Income Tax Act? The tax utility, which is having the AI tool built into it, will pull out all the sections of Section 43B of the Income Tax Act and give it to you within no time. So there's no need for you to go to an expert. So you can, use artificial intelligence to look at information from the internet, and it's possible for you to get every information at the press of a button. Artificial intelligence can also help in credit reporting, monitoring your accounts receivable, analyzing your key market trends, analyzing your inventory, automating the business process. See, a lot of business process can be automated by using AI, and cost control. If you're a chartered accountant working in the industry, and if it's very essential for you to keep a control of cost, there's a need for you to automate the business process, there's a need for you to analyze the inventory. All this is possible using artificial intelligence. So for practitioners like us, the first place where artificial intelligence would bring some value add to us is the way it is being used in tax utilities abroad. Even in the tax utilities in India, you will have artificial intelligence being used. Blockchain is something gaining traction around the world, and the Reserve Bank of India has mandated all the banks to set up a group on blockchain, because I see that the banking industry in India would be adopting blockchain the first. Because what happens in blockchain is that all the data is stored in blocks, and each of these blocks are linked to the other. Let us say a bank like Indian Overseas Bank is having all the data on one server. Of course, a bank like Indian Overseas Bank got robust servers. Let us say a company is having a server, it can be hacked by anyone. But if the company or the bank is using blockchain, even if there's hacking that takes place, only the data in that particular block can be impacted. The entire data in the server would not crash down. So it will minimize the damage. So that is the reason why blockchain is becoming popular. And for dealing in cryptocurrency, blockchain is extremely popular. And as I said, in India, blockchain will be used in the banking industry. So basically, it's an open distributed ledger. You can record transactions between two people in a verifiable manner. And what really happens is,
IOB, SBI, yeah.
yeah. And what happens is all the transactions can be tracked from its origin. So this will provide an online real-time data to you. So if you are asked as a chartered accountant, as an auditor, to conduct an audit of blockchain data, it becomes very easy, because what really happens is you have online real-time access to all the data. So it is essential for you to have knowledge of blockchain. Just in a webinar like this, I might not be able to tell you the advantage of blockchain. Only thing I can tell that blockchain is a new technology. Information is recorded in blocks. If there's a hacking that takes place, only the information in that particular block can get impacted. It is used for cryptocurrency, and the advantage of blockchain is that it will have all the transactions tracked properly, and an auditor can have online real-time access to the data, because today transactions are happening online. So if you are the auditor of that entity and if the entity is using blockchain, you can have access to the data as and when the transaction takes place. This is something which you need to know. Friends, my only suggestion to all of you is that there are a lot of certification courses available. The digital accounting, we have a board, a digital accounting and assurance standards board, which is having certification courses on blockchain, is having certification courses on robotic process automation, certification courses on artificial intelligence. I think if you have the time, if you have the interest, because during lockdown times, you need to upskill yourself. Okay. So it's a good opportunity for you to go to the website of the institute, DAAB, Digital Accounting Assurance Standards Board, and look at some of the courses that are being given on blockchain, RPA, and artificial intelligence. Coming to cloud accounting. Cloud accounting is something where you store your data on remote servers. See, today, for example, we have a lockdown in Bangalore. The data in my office is stored in the, what you can say, cloud. I'm able to access my data sitting here at my home. So earlier, what used to happen is we used to store the data in our servers in our office. But today, everyone is moving to the cloud. What really happens in cloud computing is that you can access data from anywhere, from your office, from your home, from the airport. And it's possible for you to increase the amount of data you want to store, or reduce it. If you don't want to have so much data, you can reduce. So you can, it's a service that is available as much as you require. You can subscribe for the cloud. Cloud like Microsoft Azure is common, Amazon Cloud is common. So we find that cloud computing is gaining acceptance. All the mid-size and large-size companies have already moved to the cloud. Even practitioners like us, people like you and me, have to move our data to the cloud. The reason why I'm trying to tell you is, let us say there's a lockdown, there's uncertainty, you're not able to go to office. At least you and your staff should be able to access the data. And you can have access to the data only if they shifted to the cloud. When you're talking to the cloud, you have the public cloud, you have the private cloud. And it is possible for you to subscribe to the public cloud. You can have your own private cloud. Private cloud is something like creating your own cloud of yours in the office, and you access the data through the server, through VPN. So virtual private network, it's called. See, many of us have the fear, since we deal with clients' confidential information. What if I shift all the data to the cloud? Is it safe? What about the security and other things? And what will be the cost? The running costs are quite high. The moment you subscribe to Microsoft Azure or even Amazon, at least minimum to 10 to 12,000 rupees would be your average cost for you to shift all your data. So what is the data you will have in a chartered accountant's office? You will have your client's data, which will be in Excel or Word. Then you will have your Tally data of your clients, because most of the clients use Tally. So you have to access Tally. Then you will have your tax filing software, like your Winman or whatever is popular in your particular place. So you need to access the Tally's data. You need to access the tax filing data. You need to access your regular Excel and Word of financial statements of your clients. Now, if everything is stored in the server at your office and there's a lockdown, you cannot access it. So you need to have a cloud service. And as I said, if you subscribe to Amazon Cloud, it will cost you 10 to 12,000 rupees. The best way for you, what I would recommend to each one of you, is that if you want to migrate to the cloud, is that you need to invest in a good, robust server first. See, most of us, what really happens is, you have about 10 to 12 computers in your office. Each one is connected to the other. Maybe one system is converted to a server. My suggestion is invest in a separate server, shift all the data, whether it is tally data, whether it is your client, your office data, or your tax filing data to the server, and have the VPN network and provide access to all your article clerks so that they sitting from home can access the tally, can access the tax filing software, they can access the client's data like on Word and Excel and carry out the work from home. So work from home is not very difficult, not very complicated. Only thing, you need to invest in a good server, you need to invest in good firewall, you need to invest in a good operating system, and fourth one, you need to invest in a good VPN. Four things if you're able to do, maybe investment about 3 to 5 lakhs, you can have a very efficient, robust work from home where you don't need to pay 10 to 12,000 rupees every month. This is something which I would suggest to all of you, especially people, small and medium practitioners like you and me, have to look at ways and means of working from home, or your client, your staff to be able to work from home by shifting your data to the cloud. And as I said, I would suggest that you can go to a private cloud. Private cloud is your own cloud in your office, wherein you have your own server, you have a VPN, you have a firewall, you have an operating system, and you access it yourself. The next thing which I would like to talk about is big data analytics. Today, what is happening is every organization is having a lot of data. Problem is managing this data. So you need to identify data that is required, identify data that is not required. You need to slice the data which is required. So for this, chartered accountants are the most ideal professionals to do analytics. And if you see the newspaper today, our Chengal Reddy would agree with me, even in the campus interviews, chartered accountants who are having the knowledge of analytics are able to get a better salary. Like companies like Infosys, companies like Wipro, Cisco, they look for these additional skill sets. The moment you apply for a campus job, and if you tell them I've done a certification course on analytics, or if you say that I've done a certification course on robotic process automation, they would prefer you. So what is happening is that analytics has thrown up a lot of opportunity for chartered accountants. And today we find that companies have switched over to analytics to reduce their costs. And the best professional to understand analytics is chartered accountant. Let us say a client who is with you comes to you and asks you, Mr. Raghu, can you help me in analyzing my company's information? I would like to reduce the cost in this COVID era. Can you help it? We are using this analytics tool. So you can't say, no, sir, I don't know how to use analytics tool. Give me the printouts or give me the data. I will look into it and come back to you something which is not acceptable. You need to sit down with the IT team up there, find out which is the analytical tool they're using. Try to help them in analyzing the data that is available to them. How to reduce costs, how to, sort of grow their sales. All this analytics can be done. And for that, you need to know how to work on analytics. You need to know what analytics is. So my suggestion to each one of you watching this webinar is that please try to gain some insights to analytics. You might tell me, Mr. Raghu, I'm already 55 years old. My knowledge of technology is very limited. How do I think I can get into all these areas? Vijayawada is a very small place. We are all into traditional practice. These are all the small common things which all the practitioners tell. I know that because I've traveled across the country and everywhere is the same. My only request to each one of you is that, yes, if you're old, if you're 55, you're not very keen to learn new technology, take a young guy, take a young chartered accountant who is having the knowledge of technology, who is having the knowledge of analytics, who is having the knowledge of robotic process automation. Take him as a junior partner. Tell him, boss, you please drive this business. I want you to take the lead and bring in technology to the firm. And you encourage him, motivate him, and try to give him a platform so that he can grow that particular business. So you can partner with other chartered accountants who are just passed out, youngsters who have the knowledge of technology. A 21, 22-year-old guy who has passed a CA will definitely be better equipped than you to do analytics. So the best way for you to get into all these new areas is to take some youngsters and drive the practice. The second question you asked me, Mr. Raghu, Vijayawada, where do you think we can get analytics? Where do you think robotic process automation will not come? Where do you think blockchain is? I don't agree with you, because today what is happening, Chengal Reddy sitting from Vijayawada can service clients sitting in Singapore. He can service clients sitting in Australia. he can service clients sitting in America. It is possible. I have seen lot of chartered accountants in lot of small towns, servicing clients. So if a client from Singapore reaches out to you and say, Mr. Raghu, will send you a set of data, can you provide analytical work for us? I should be in a position to say yes to him. I should have a partner with me, a young guy who can help me to do all this. So what I mean to say is that just because you're in Vijayawada, don't think you can't get into new areas. You can pretty well get into these new areas, because today your customers are not only in Vijayawada, your customers are around the world. That is something which you need to keep in mind. If you're sitting in Vijayawada, traditionally those days you used to have clients coming to you only from Vijayawada. I remember when my father also a chartered accountant. I'm a second generation practitioner. Those days when I did my articleship in 87, 90, the clients used to call and take an appointment with my father, and my father used to tell them to come at 11 o'clock, then tell another client to come at 11:30, then 12 o'clock, and the receptionist used to maintain the list of all the appointments, and the clients used to come spend half an hour with my dad, have a cup of coffee and go. Those were the days where chamber meetings used to be very common, but now those things are gone. Now the client will tell you, Mr. Raghu, do you want me to come? Can we finalize on the email itself? Can you send me all the financials on the email? Let's discuss. Can we do a Zoom call? Can we, have a video call on WhatsApp? So you have to change to the scenario. So what I mean to say, friends, is that you need to adapt yourself to the changing times. And even if a client from Singapore reaches out to you, you should be ready to take up that responsibility of delivering the service to him sitting at Vijayawada. This I've already said. Robotic process automation is something, routine tasks are done by the computer, like preparation of payroll, generation of payroll slips, punching of accounting data. Let us say you have 1,000 sales vouchers and 1,000 purchase vouchers, and all these vouchers are barcoded. A non-accounting background professional, let us say a person who's done BA also, can take the scanner and then scan the invoices, and automatically the invoices gets punched onto the accounting software. Today, a lot of new accounting softwares have come where accounting can be done with the help of a barcode. So there's a huge opportunity in robotic process automation. What basically RPA does it, the routine task gets automated. Payroll, then invoice generation, punching invoices on software all becomes automated. Friends, another important area which I feel is gaining ground is IFRS. In a place like Vijayawada, you might say, again, it is not there. I'm not telling that IFRS would come straight away to a place like Vijayawada, but as you know, around the world, IFRS is gaining popularity, and especially for youngsters, it is now part of the CA final curriculum. You have to have the knowledge of IFRS. Now we call it as Ind AS in India. The reason why Institute of Chartered Accountants of India went to IFRS is because more than 130 countries are following IFRS in the preparation of financial statements. And today we have investors coming from various parts of the world. Let us say there's a factory in Vijayawada, which is manufacturing chemicals. You might have an investor from Netherlands. So if you're the auditor of this chemical factory in Vijayawada, then you're the managing director of the company would ask you, Mr. Raghu, can you help me to convert the financials to IFRS, because I have an investor in Netherlands. He would want my financials in IFRS. So you should have the expertise of converting from Indian GAAP to IFRS. So this is something very important. All of you should keep in mind. And today, with investments coming from around the world, it is absolutely essential for you to have one set of standards that is acceptable by everyone around the world, and everyone should be able to understand and read it. So basically, IFRS is one full set of high quality, understandable and enforceable global accounting standards. Earlier, we used to have Indian GAAP, Pakistan used to have Pakistan GAAP, Sri Lanka used to have Sri Lanka GAAP, America used to have American GAAP. Now everything is now IFRS. It's a principle-based set of standards which are drafted lucidly by the IFRS Foundation. And as I said, the users of the statements are no longer limited to a single country. Let us say an investor from Australia wants to invest in your company in Vijayawada, then he would want your financial statements of your client to be IFRS. So there's a need for a uniform reporting system, and as a result of which today the knowledge of IFRS is very important. And luckily now it is part of the CA curriculum. All the new generation CAs who are passing out have the knowledge of this IFRS, and IFRS, if they have the knowledge, they can be globally employable. The moment if you're a CA from India with the knowledge of IFRS, you can get a job in Australia, you can get a job in America, you can get a job in Singapore, you can get a job in Dubai. So, IFRS gives you a lot of opportunities. So these are all some of the strategies which I want to say as to how you want to grow. You can't grow in your traditional areas of practice. Tax practice like income tax, GST, audit practice is your bread is required. In a place like Vijayawada, yes, you need to do. But if you want to grow, you have to look at new avenues. That is why I'm trying to talk about all the new areas that is opening up. So as you can see in this picture, more than 120 countries around the world are required to report reporting of financial statements in accordance with IFRS. Then darker areas are the one indicates the countries that require a permit IFRS, and then blue areas are something which already are using IFRS, and lighter areas are countries seeking convergence IASB or pursuing adoption of IFRS. So basically, what I mean to say is that there's a huge international opportunity. The moment if you have the knowledge of IFRS, you can get a job anywhere in the world. And there's a lot of demand for valuation experts. The institute has launched a valuation course. Now, let us say under IFRS, you need to value the assets of all the assets and liabilities. The fair market value of the assets has to be ascertained. So there'll be a demand for accountants with the knowledge of valuation. So the institute has launched a course on valuation. Let us say if Mr. Chengal Reddy wants to do a course on valuation, he can do a course on valuation and he can become an expert in valuing the assets and liabilities of a company. So there's a demand for valuation experts, and many companies might appoint you for converting their financials to IFRS. As I said, some of the big companies based in Vijayawada, let us say you have in a place like Visakhapatnam, you have the Vizag Steel Plant. Let us say if the Vizag Steel Plant want to convert their financial statements into IFRS, they might reach out to you and say, can you help us in converting? And if Srinivas Rao has got the team in his office to help in conversion from Indian GAAP to IFRS, he can take up this assignment and conduct the conversion. It's not very difficult. It's quite, it is possible for you to do. Don't think that only the big four can do it or any of the big size firms can do it. Any audit firm can carry out this activity. So I see a huge consulting opportunity in IFRS. Then coming to banking, friends, CAs are actively involved in the banking sector, either by of year-end statutory audits, concurrent audits, stock audits, revenue audits. And the CA fraternity has been supporting the banking sector very well. And today, the chartered accountants are being used by the bank for conducting a lot of work. And one new area that is opening up is forensic. See, today what is happening, many of the accounts are getting NPA. When I was on the board of Indian Overseas Bank, we wanted forensic auditors. We had highly inadequate, 3 years back, we had about 350 to 400 firms who were able to do forensic. We have launched a certification course on forensic, which is online. In fact, I have recently enrolled myself for this forensic course. I finished first part of the course and I have to write my final exam. It is just out of upskilling myself. I thought, why don't I, deep dive into forensic audit? And let me tell you, friends, forensic audit is an exciting area, new area. You can get a lot of, insights as to how frauds are committed in an organization and how, if you're a forensic auditor, how you can easily detect the frauds. See, if you're a normal chartered accountant, you might find it difficult to detect a fraud. But if you're a forensic auditor, it's very easy for you to identify a fraud. And today frauds are increasing, whether in the banking sector or in the corporates, frauds are increasing. And when you're a concurrent auditor or the statutory auditor, and when you know a fraud has happened in a particular bank, you should have the knowledge to know how the fraud has been conducted. So, but banks today are appointing CA firms with the knowledge of forensic for conducting forensic audit of large NPA accounts. So this is another area that is opening up. I would recommend that chartered accountants who would like to take up a course on forensic can take up a course on forensic. And once you pass, you can register with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, register with IBA, and the banks are using the panel from IBA and the Institute of Chartered Accountants to appoint forensic auditors. and they pay a very good fee also. Of course, the responsibility is quite high, and you need to be very, very proficient in the subject. You cannot do a very casual job because you have to submit evidence before the courts. So there's an opportunity for you in the field of forensic audit. Another area which has thrown open a lot of opportunities that can help you to grow your firm, because we're talking about growth strategies, I thought I should talk about forensic, insolvency, and all these new areas. IFRS is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Today, most of the insolvency professionals are from our profession. Even though company secretaries, cost accountants, and CS can become insolvency professionals, the maximum number of, more than 65% of the insolvency professionals are from our profession. And if you have seen the code, it provides for a specialized forum to oversee all insolvency and liquidation proceedings for individuals, SMEs, and corporates. So this has led to improvement in the recoveries. Insolvency proceedings has given a much required, you can say, succor to the banks to collect funds from all the NP accounts. And today the balance sheets of banks are being cleaned through higher write-offs, contributing to lower GNPA ratios. So Insolvency Bankruptcy Code has given a lot of opportunities for our professionals. And I was surprised to see even in a place like Vijayawada, so many chartered accountants have passed this exam. I was going through the list of chartered accountants who have done forensic and who have done insolvency. I'm happy to state, Chairman, that our members in Vijayawada are very, very, what you can say, forward-looking. Many of the members of Vijayawada have passed forensic.
45% are there, sir, who are passed the forensic.
And even Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code also, many chartered accountants have passed. Really, I feel so happy that
they are doing good business also, sir. They are associating with the group of people and doing this forensic and insolvency also, IBC also, sir.
That's very nice. And then I was talking about forensic audit. Today, as I said, no domain is spared from misconduct, fraudulence. And today the frauds have increased, and today we have cyber crimes happening. And RBI has made forensic audit mandatory for all the banks and for all the NPA customers. And some of the development that is, making forensic audit important is complex litigation. And then we are also seeing government investigations increasing, prevention and risk management. So what I mean to say, forensic audit has got plenty of opportunities. And as chartered accountants, you can get into forensic. Then another area which chartered accountants can get into is, consulting on cyber attacks. See, some of the areas which are prone for cyber attacks is online media, insurance, telecommunication, e-commerce and online payment, retail. Here, the chances of cyber attacks are very, very high. So if you're a chartered accountant having the knowledge of technology consulting, and you know how cyber attacks takes place, you can create a framework for your client to see that cyber attacks don't happen. So cyber risk services, which include cyber strategy and management, cyber intelligence, cyber analytics, are gaining ground due to the advent of mobile technology, cloud computing, and social media. Because as I said, a lot of things are being sold on the internet. There's a possibility of cyber frauds. So when cyber frauds takes place, cyber consultants are in great demand. And as chartered accountants, if you have the knowledge of providing cyber risk services, this is a good area of opportunity. You can do your DISA, you can do your ESA, then you can do some special. For everything, friends, let me tell you one thing. You need to have some basic, better image, capability to handle large assignments. These are all some of the merits. If I've merged with 2-3 chartered accountants, these are all the merits. Demerits, as I said, clash of work cultures, loss of clientele, loss of personal touch, increased fees, and different staff from different offices will get together. These are all the demerits. So you need to decide whether the merits are more or demerits are more, and then decide whether you want to merge or not. So let us say, friends, you want to grow your practice. What are the strategies for practice development? You need to delegate your work. No point having all the work on your head. You need to create a work profile so that you can delegate work to the senior assistants. Create teams for assignments. For income tax, you can create a team. For GST, you can create a team. For audit, you can create a team. Provide time limits for all administrative work. Pre-printed formats used to be popular then. Today, now everything is soft, so that they're not very relevant today. Checklists are very important. You should provide a checklist to all your staff for every category, incorporation of a company, what are all the things to be done. if they're going for audit, statutory audit of a bank, what are all the things to be done? If they have to do a tax audit, what are all the audit checklists they need to prepare? So you have to prepare audit checklists in your organization, have them readily available so that you provide to them. As I said, have a responsible person for answering all queries, because clients keep calling you up for small things. Sir, how much TDS have to deduct for this? Sir, I heard the due date for filing the return has changed. Sir, when do you think I have to send my wife's tax details? He need not contact you for all these things. You should have a person trained in your office to handle the routine questions. So you should train, and the client should call them up and seek all the clarifications. So in my office, none of the clients reach out to me for regular clarifications. I have earmarked some people and they reach out to them and they provide all the routine clarifications. And create awareness by providing circulars, even though the client would have seen that in the internet or social media, you please provide e-circulars to them. Use automation for billing, for your clients billing, use automation. Try to monitor your data, how much they are due for how much time. And spend about 10 to 20% of your time for reading. Upskilling is very important. Have a paper clearance week, code of conduct for article clerks, periodical reporting system to partners, training to article clerks, hiring quality. All this, all of us are doing it. You need to continue to do that. So what is very important, friends, is that to enhance client value, we need to improve our client contact. During COVID times, how many of you have contacted all your clients? You should pick up the phone, say hi to them, tell them how's their business, tell them it's a courtesy call, whether everything is fine, whether they're having any work issues. So try to develop a good client contact, send useful articles to them, help them with your contact. Let us say you've got a nice boardroom and you can tell the client, sir, if you want, you can use my boardroom. Things like that, build a personal relationship with the client, participate in social activities. He invites you for a wedding, you should attend. Offering use of firm's facilities, volunteering to attend clients' internal meeting. Let us say a big client of yours wants you to participate in one internal meeting, you should volunteer free of cost, not charge him for that. And using technology to improve turnaround time. And friends, one important thing that you need to keep in mind that whichever services are not remunerative, you should withdraw yourself. Very, very important. And improve your speed of billing, improve your speed of collection, because people bill after 2 months, 3 months, same day when the service is done, the bill should be raised the same day. Have a proper system in your office to collect the bills, because if you delay it, the client will not pay. And today, all of us are having the problem of having, datas which are not realizable because you're 1 year old, 2 years old, and the client is not very keen to pay them. So that's something which you and accommodate part-time staff. See, a lot of chartered accountants are available, especially lady CAs who are not able to go for a full-time job because of their children. Try to see if you can accommodate them as a part. We launched a flexi working portal during my presidency, which was a big success. You can give that option to the lady CA to come either in the post lunch or in the morning session or work from home. Tell her, madam, you please work at your convenience. So you try to accommodate part-time, chartered accountants, because number one, you can get them at half the cost, and you can have the advantage of their knowledge to your team. So if you cannot afford a full-time CA, you can look at a part-time CA. Also can work for half day or work from home, train your staff. All these things, tactics are required for you to enhance client value and to improve the, the quality of services in your firm. Friends, finally, to conclude, it's been a very long session. What is important for all of us sitting in this webinar is we have to provide the best service. Because if you don't provide the best service, clients will vanish. Whether it is Raghu, whether it is Chengal Reddy, whether it is Srinivas Rao, very important is that we deliver outstanding client service. Number two is provide maximum satisfaction to the clients. We should be satisfied. Let me go only to Raghu. I don't want anyone other than Raghu. Or you should say, no, Chengal Reddy is the best guy. I know him for 15 years, a safe bet, trustworthy guy, very important. And finally, why do we do all this? To achieve financial success. And friends, having put 30 years of practice and having been a second generation partner, I have been practicing most of these things in my office. And let me tell you, friends, that I have derived a lot of benefits. I've derived, good success in my practice. And I believe that each one of us should try to work towards this. Of course, most of us will be doing most of these things. Not that whatever I'm telling you is new. But even if you're able to pick up 1 or 2 good points from my presentation, able to implement it in your office, I think that will be the best thing that can happen. So with these I cannot say few words. I'm extremely thankful to the chairman, Srinivas Rao, for having given me an opportunity to speak. And I'm sure the members, who are participating in the webinar would have been immensely benefited by this presentation. Thank you very much, Srinivas Rao and Chengal Reddy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Really, it is a value addition to our things, sir. Because day in, day out, to just, as you said, each and every proprietor used to work more than 14 hours, more so in the COVID era also, because of the so many factors that are dependent. Because automatically they are the persons who are involved in day in, day out also. The SOPs, what you are saying, that standardized operating practices, that we have to adopt in each and every area of the this thing, so that we can reduce our burden. If anything, GST registration there, you can able to send a placard saying that these are all the documents that are necessary for the GST registration or something like that, which will help us a lot. That type of documentation that we have to adopt, more so in the technological era, that what you are saying, that sharing the cloud is really very necessary for this thing, and using Google, whatever the benefits that are there, that Google Drive, and everything has to be documented and everything has to be scanned, so that we cannot search for a Aadhaar card or a PAN card, whatever the case may be, because we have a sufficient this thing, because half of our time will be we are able to spending on the searching of the things only. So now that we are able to reduce those things, and because CA is a leader, and he should understand, and he should deliver the goods, and he should make the people see that the things will be done. So thank you very much, sir, for your great introduction and this thing. I request Chengal Reddy sir kindly share a few words so that we can conclude the session within no time.
I think Srinivas sir, any questions are there, you can take it.
Chat's only appreciations is there, sir, but as such there are no questions. So that I think it means it's a comprehensive thing that what we have covered in your session. So as such there are no questions. I request Chengal Reddy sir to kindly.
Thank you, Chairman Garu. I think it's a fantastic presentation by our beloved past president, C.A. Raghu sir. I think if we pick up at least a few points out of the presentation, then definitely we can move ahead, and the SMPs, the small and medium practitioners can move forward. If we take at least 10% out of the presentation, definitely it will be a great help for the firms. Definitely whatever the suggestions and the ideas given by our Raghu sir definitely will help the chartered accountants. I think most of the chartered accountants who have gone through this today presentation, definitely I hope that at least they will pick at least a few points so that they can move ahead in their day-to-day professional flourish. Thank you, Chairman Garu sir. Raghu sir, it's a fantastic presentation. I am telling you honestly, I think this is the presentation which I gone through entire from the starting to ending, sir, so far.
That's correct, sir. That's correct.
Thank you very much, Chengal Reddy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice of you, sir. Definitely, it is a value addition to our this thing, and I request now our SICASA chairman.
Generally, sir, Chairman Garu, this CA firms growth strategies, what they will tell, we all know very well, like that every member will think. But where we are lacking, we have to understand, then only we'll move ahead. Otherwise, see, everybody will know meeting clients and educating client, giving service, everything they know. But where we have to be very, very careful is the crucial for us. The crucial points touched today by our beloved past president, C.A.K. Raghu sir. I believe
Definitely, sir, because it is the technological era, and we cannot forget the technology or internet, whatever the case may be in the present situation. We have to adopt it. Sir is telling that you have to take a new guy into your firm so that the technology and experience and audit, taxation, everything will be merged and can be presented very beautifully to this thing. It should be a win-win situation. Everybody will win over the situation, not that he will lose the things to the youngster or something like that. So that we have to make our heart a little bit more. We have to enlarge the art or something like that. So art enlargement is not the other word that we have to take it out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman Garu, Srinivas Rao Garu, for giving me this opportunity to interact today the members of Vijayawada branch. I think Ravi Kishore Garu for helping in. I think I am not able to connect because of little bit issues, but finally I could able to connect it. Thank you very much, sir. Raghu sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
That is our blessing, sir. Thank you. So now that I request Ravi Kishore sir to give formal vote of thanks to our sir. President sir, since it is a COVID era and online thinking, the hospitality that we are not able to provide to you, even a cup of coffee or something like that.
No, sir. See, Chairman Garu, you can give one certificate of participation like that. We are giving in even Hyderabad branch. They are sending one appreciation of participation and as a speaker, so that it will be helpful for each and every speaker, sir.
And also, I'm sure I'll be able to get CP credit for this, sir.
100% you get, sir. 100% double the CPE credit because you are the resource person. You can get it.
I've already put my membership number there.
Yes, sir.
In the login credentials. So CPE credit would be a good sufficient for me.
Compulsory, sir, and you'll be double the CPE credit as a resource person, sir. So
sir, I think, sir, being a past president, you all has to be exempted from this CPE credit, sir.
No. Learning is something which Chengal Reddy, I like even to this day. I like to upskill myself. I feel that as professionals, if we have to be, what you can say, successful, we have to keep learning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But being a past president, sir, I think whether I am correct or not, I don't know. But being a past president, you all has to give the lot of inputs, advices to the present presidents, sir. Definitely in that way, I think every member will get benefit out of that ideas which you are sharing to the head office.
Sure. In fact, yesterday, as I said, I spoke to the president and I told him, sir, today the chartered accountants across the country are having a working capital issue because April, May, June, they're not being able to do much professional work. June, July, August will be very difficult. We need to immediately tie up with the nationalized bank to provide a concessional working capital. He said, Mr. Raghu, we're already working with SBI. I only hope shortly we announce it, he said. So as a past president, not only I look into my own firm's thing, looks into the concerns of the by default, my mind will work in that direction. Whether I like it or not, having served as a president, my members' thing is close to our heart. I picked up the phone and told the president, when the president said we're already doing it, you feel happy that yes, you have done your job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That's a great and kind-hearted of yours. Thank you, sir. And now over to Ravi Kishore, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Before I present my vote of thanks, I would like to give an administrative note. Members who are all watching this telecast, please understand that bringing you these type of webcasts and bringing you this high quality of speakers, even past presidents, is a Herculean task. And you please understand that somebody was sharing the screen now. Somebody was annotating previously and drawing lines. I think we are all members. The Zoom has a facility to restrict everyone and everything. But a due respect to all members were given, and we did not put in any restriction on the telecast. So I request in the days, in the coming days and in the coming meetings, please don't share your necessarily, or please don't annotate or draw lines on the screen. And that's a request on behalf of the managing committee. So let me present the vote of thanks of this session. Thank you very much, sir, CA Raghu sir, for making it convenient and addressing on the strategies of growth of CA firms practice. You have enlightened us on many of the new avenues. It was very well articulated, elaborated, and expounded, and you have done a commendable job of presentation. I thank also our RCM, CA Changaleddy sir, who has made it convenient and who has stayed through the session. And also I thank the members who have presented in large numbers and making this program a grand success. Thank you one and all, and we will meet in the next session.
Before leaving, our past chairman Chaudhary sir is wants to say something. Chaudhary Garu, are you able to hear?
In fact, Chairman, I am
Yes, sir.
very happy to. I was just seeing the list of participants who are participating.
Yes,
Many
sir.
of my good friends are watching this webinar. Mr. Amar, Sudhir, Chitta, a lot of chartered accountants I know personally.
Yeah, past chairman sir.
Yeah, past chairman, I'm very happy to, sort of see so many people known to me participating in the session.
Good afternoon, Mr. Raghu.
Good afternoon,
Sir.
sir.
Sir, how are you, sir? And in this, I take this opportunity to recognize Mr. Raghu's tech savviness, because when he was the chairman of SARC, I was heading the branch. And during the seminar, bank audit seminar in which Mr. Raghu was the chief guest, we saw that the e-newsletter of the branch was inaugurated on that day. That was inaugurated by Mr. Raghu, and I think during the term we continued the e-newsletter, and even the newsletter what we published physically was appreciated by all the Central Council members. Even whenever Mr. Manoharan used to personally write to me acknowledging the quality of the newsletter. But unfortunately, what happened was it was much bigger than the SARC newsletter, and they wanted us to shorten it with just 4 pages or something like that. So anyway, it's a great opportunity to hear you, sir, and thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks on behalf of the branch and all the members. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Changaleddy. Thank you, GS, sir.
Thank you, Chaudhary Garu. Thank you for your nice interaction. So, friends,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
With this, I will close the session. Tomorrow's session by New Code of Ethics by Amarjit Chopra sir, past president, by evening 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Raghu sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu sir.
Thank you, Changal.